on the tube. You might hear a lot of noise in my background. It is still early evening out here, and it's nice out, and curfew has been lifted. So you know, New York is lit right now, even though we're supposed to be in the house. But how are you guys doing? Been a little while since I did Mental Health Mondays for uh a good reason, and I'll explain why in this video. But first off, how are you doing? I hope well. Um, so first thing I want to discuss really quick. Today is like a very, I don't know. This is always my day of, I guess, rebirth or whatever, because not many people know this, but I mean, I said it last year on Facebook. But if you're not following me on Facebook, June 8th, 2018, that was the day that I was considering committing suicide. And here I am 2 years later, still alive and well. And I use today as a day to reflect or whatever, and to give myself praise for not making a permanent decision off of temporary emotions, even though I was going through a lot. So proud of myself. Um, Today is a day, like I said, of rebirth. Since then, I've been going to therapy like I'm supposed to. I've been more open, more honest with myself and with everyone else, and I'm actually proud of myself or whatever. So, you know, June 8th is always a significant day for me, even though I hate the month of June. But this day in particular is, I don't look at it as a dark day anymore. I look at it as a day of rebirth. So I'm very proud of myself. And I just want anybody else out there who feels like they have the same type of thoughts, suicidal thoughts, and they have, they feel alone in their thoughts. Don't. It's okay not to be okay. And I want people to always keep that in mind. Now, the reason why I have been on hiatus from Mental Health Mondays and Trending with Teesha for the past couple of weeks. So, mid-May last month, um, I had someone come to me and tell me that they tested positive for the virus, and I had to, I said it in my last Mental Health Mondays. I felt like helpless, like I felt like I couldn't help that person or whatever. So when they came to me and told me that they tested positive or whatever, but they were going to go get retested for a second opinion, I said, I told myself, why not go get tested and see for myself? So I took myself and my kids and we went and got tested. Their results came back negative. Mine came back positive. So initially, me finding out that I tested positive for COVID, I panicked. I panicked. I cried. I felt defeated, and it was just a lot. But you know what? I took that time to like self isolate, even though it was so hard because I still had to do remote learning with my children. Um, I had to uh, self isolate. I had to quarantine myself. I had to disinfect everything that I touched. It was a lot. So, um, it was very hard because my children wanted so badly to give me hugs and high fives because, every time they do good on their work, I always give them praises. I give them high fives and hugs and all of that. And my daughter especially, she loves giving me a hug just for no reason, just because it's Friday, 3 o'clock p.m. on a Friday. She likes just giving me hugs. So, and then usually I let her help me cook breakfast. I let her help cook breakfast in the morning or whatever. And for her not to be able to do that, it bothered her a lot. Bothered me a lot too because that was our time to bond, and it's like I had to keep them 6 feet away from me. It was just a lot, and it sucks because it's like those are my children. They love their mom. They want to get hugs. They want affection. It's like I couldn't even do that with them, and it broke my heart a little bit. But um, I just took those 2 weeks, and they went with their dad, And I stayed home. I self isolated. I binge watched Degrassi, which I'm still doing. I colored, did some really pretty colors, like some little coloring pages. Um, what else? I did like little video calls with my friends. I still continued doing fishbowl on Fridays. I only told like a select few people that I tested positive. But it's like as the days kept going, because they told me, you have to monitor your temperature, you have to check your temperature daily. My temperature never went up or down. It was always, you know, it always stayed the same. It never, it never heightened, and it never got low or high. It stayed the same. I was always 98 point something. I was 99.3 one day, but that was the highest that it was, and the lowest it was just 98.1. So every day I check my temperature. Um I was drinking the first week. I drank a lot of tea. But once it started getting hot, I left the tea alone because it's hot. It's too hot for tea. So, but yeah, like I would, when my kids were here, I would cook them their dinner, let them eat, and then I would come upstairs. And then when it was time for them to go to bed, I would go downstairs and eat, and so on and so forth. My mom, she would wait until I finished eating to come downstairs and eat. So it just sucked. Like I couldn't do anything like normal that I usually do. I had to do stuff in um what is it? And I had to do it in like intervals, and it was just weird for me. So by the second week, I was like, all right, because I think by then that's when my kids went with their dad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna push through this. I'm a color. I'm gonna continue the fish bowls. I'm gonna play Animal Crossing. I'm gonna watch Degrassi. I'm gonna talk on the phone with my friends. I'm gonna just relax. That's what I'm gonna do. By the third week, I was over it. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I got laundry to do. I got food shopping to do. Like this is So I had called to schedule an appointment to get retested. The first time I called, the lady sounded like she had like a whole attitude. And I was like, yeah, I recently tested positive, and I would like to come and get retested since my, 14 days are almost up. And she's like, well, you would have to be mandated to get tested. And I'm like, but if I tested positive or whatever, and I'm done self isolating and self quarantining, wouldn't I have to go and get retested to see if I still possibly test positive or if I'm negative? And she's like, no, you would have to be mandated to get tested, retested. And I was like, what? So once I hung up the phone with her, I called the number back. The person, the operator that I got this time was much nicer, took my name, my information, everything. Set me up with my appointment that Monday at 1 p.m. And I was like, really? She couldn't just do this for me? But whatever, some people just don't like doing their jobs, I guess. I don't know. So, I did the retesting. Yes, I did the nasal swab. Let me tell you, that swab, if y'all are ever considering going to get tested, brace yourself and breathe, because the swab is so uncomfortable. It is the most uncomfortable, longest 5 seconds of your life. When I went the first time, it took me by surprise. And remember, I went with my kids. So when I took my kids to do it, my son, he was a little uneasy, but he did it. My daughter freaked out. She smacked the tech and everything. And I was like, oh gosh. So when he did it, it's like, he was like doing this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I went the second time, the lady did it, and she was like, okay, breathe. And she was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The longest 5 seconds of your life. So if you, them in these motorcycles, if you are considering getting the swab or whatever, I'm just mentally preparing you. Breathe. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe, because it's uncomfortable. It is. It really is uncomfortable. So, I went and got retested. They gave me a paper saying that, if I go on this portal, they'll send me my information or whatever as far as my results go. So the whole week I was checking my results, but I was still self-isolating. I was still, staying to myself or whatever, quarantine. So yesterday I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna have to call these people because my results are taking too long. No sooner did I said that, I got my results and it said that I am negative. So I guess I survived COVID. I guess you could say. But I believe that I honestly believe that I might be a carrier because I was asymptomatic. I had no symptoms, no shortness of breath, no fever, no body ache, no headache, nothing. And if I did get a headache, because I'm prone to migraines, if I did get a headache, it was due to lack of sleep or lack of eating. But other than that, I had no symptoms. I felt fine, didn't feel sick at all, nothing. So, and honestly, I believe that I had coronavirus in March because my last day of work before they shut schools down, I had body aches, I had a fever, I had a headache, I had a stuffy nose, and I didn't feel like myself. And remember, around March was when they first was like discovering the symptoms or whatever, and the four main symptoms was fever, body ache, uh shortness of breath, and I think chest pains or something like that. And I think out of all of those symptoms I only had two, so they sent me home and told me it was a viral infection. I didn't believe that for one bit because I know exactly what a viral infection feels like, and it did not feel like that. What I had felt like the flu because my fever, I had a fever, and it was like my body just did not feel right. And then after those symptoms went away, I had like this cough that would not go away for like 2 3 weeks. I lost my sense of smell, my sense of taste, all of that. So I think that I might have had the virus in March, but because they never tested me for it, I don't know. So since then, since they didn't test me, I feel like I could have been carrying, like I guess the antibodies for the virus all this time. And because I finally got tested, it came back positive. So that's what I'm thinking could have happened. And I mean, with this whole COVID situation, it's still, the doctors and everybody that's on the front lines, shout out to them because they're doing their absolute best to take care of everyone's health. But I feel like they're still discovering things about this virus that they don't even know how to handle it now. So that's why now it's mandated that everybody wears face coverings, not so much the gloves anymore, because I mean you're gonna have to go home and wash your hands anyway, but to sanitize. But I feel like they are now they're getting better at curing the virus or whatever. So for right now, because New York, we were the ones that got hit the hardest with it, and right now they're trying to begin phase one of reopening. And I mean, that's cool and all, but I mean, I feel like we would have to open slowly but surely because remember, the riots and the protesting and everything is going on right now. So we might hit a spike in cases, which I'm praying to God we won't, but with protesting and all of that, there's barely any social distancing. So who's to say? Who knows who has the virus? Who know? It's a numbers game, and it's kind of scary. But I just want people to be very cautious. I always say, stay home, stay happy, stay safe, and whatever, and stay healthy. So I just want people to keep that in mind or whatever, because even though the protesting and all of this stuff that's going on in the world right now, yeah, that's our focus right now, but it doesn't mean that COVID has disappeared. And to my surprise, it's a lot of people that I didn't even know had the virus as well. Like a couple of my friends told me that they had the virus as well, and I was like blown because I'm like, wow, like this is, it's no joke, and people really think this is a joke, and it's not. So yeah, I just figured I would share that with you guys. I don't really know if I should say I beat COVID because I feel like I didn't really beat anything. I feel like I said, I felt like I have the antibodies, but I don't feel like I had the symptoms. It just didn't feel any different besides the fact that I had to stay home for 2 weeks. Like literally, I didn't go anywhere until the day of the day of my retesting. I went to the testing site, and then I walked home from the testing site and I went food shopping. That's about it. But other than that, for the past 3 weeks, I've been in the house and it's been torture. So I am so glad to be negative. Now I could get on with my semi new normal life. Can't really do much. I don't really go outside much, but I did say I'm gonna start taking walks, probably just walks around my block. I'm gonna finally do my laundry, finally go major food shopping. Like, I'm so happy, but still be cautious in the meantime. So I just wanted to share, you know, those stories. Well, not those stories, but my experience with the whole positive for coronavirus situation. So, if any of you guys can relate, if you would like to share your story, if you tested positive or know somebody, my comments below open, email, however you want to do it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. We'll be back in effect. I will be here for Trending with Teesha. Fishbowl never stopped. I kept going. So you could look back at those episodes of Fishbowl. That's when I was positive, and you wouldn't even known it because I didn't say anything. One of my friends was like, "See, you're still recording even though you're sick. So look at you, cute with COVID, right?" So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to stay healthy, stay happy, stay safe. Most importantly, stay home. I hope you guys have a fabulous day and happy National Best Friend Day. Shout out to all my friends. Y'all know who y'all are. My Lynette, my Ashley, my John, my Janaea, my Monique, my Panda, my Rhonda, Ashley. Two Ashleys I know. Well, I know more than two Ashleys, but Charisma, Naya, Xavier, Edward, Unique, Star. Who else? I hope I'm not missing nobody. Joseph, Prince, Nisma, everybody that I tagged or whatever on Instagram and Facebook. I love you guys. Happy National Best Friend Day to everybody, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching. Later.